How you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Colin. I'm Colin, and today is Sunday. You may be wondering why we are doing Coffee with Colin on a Sunday, and it is because my guest is an incredible, amazing actor, and he's also a father of three. So he was gracious enough to take time out of his day to actually come on here. He is someone who is doing some amazing, awesome, cool projects. He's been acting for quite some time, and he's someone who I am really jealous of because he's working on a bunch of projects that I wish I was, including the movie Scream 6 that's coming out with Courtney Cox. Of course, we all remember Scream. It's like iconic and amazing. So I can't wait to chat with him about that. You've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and he's currently on the hit Marvel show She-Hulk. He was on Schitt's Creek. He was on the Orange is the New Black. He was on Chicago PD, Trainwreck, Christmas on the Square with Dolly Parton. And he's just, so far, I've only had a few minutes to chat with him, but he seems like he's going to be sharing with us some really cool stuff. Before that, just want to say thank you again for being here. And as always, we have our comments on the right-hand side. Feel free to type in. And if you have any questions for my guests, feel free to ask, and would love for your participation. Again, we want to say thank you to Picticular for sponsoring the show. At the end of the show, we're going to be doing our Picticular Pick 6. And if you haven't downloaded the Picticular app yet, what are you waiting for? This app is a movie aficionado's dream because it allows you to be able to find all the movies of your favorite actors, including my guest today, where you can just type in his name and it'll list all of his projects, and then you can just tap and it'll show you exactly where you can watch it, on which platform: Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of it. All you got to do is just download the Picticular app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And I want to say thank you to Miriam Johnson for producing the show. If you guys are looking to have anyone help you with your podcasting or broadcasting, Miriam is your gal. And also just want to say, for everyone who is coming to the Inspire retreat in April, I'm so excited. There's still spots available. If you're interested in having an amazing vacation and an incredible week of rejuvenation and meditation, Reiki, breath work, and empowered goal setting, this is going to be an incredible week of awesomeness. So if you're interested in that, you can go to crowningphoenix.org, and all the information is there. We're going to be doing some sightseeing of the pyramids, and also visiting the cenotes, which are these underground water pools of like water we get to swim in. So it's going to be an amazing week of just not only vacation, but empowered self-reflection as well. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to bring to the stage now Mr. Josh Segarra.
Thanks a lot. You got me hyped with your intro, Colin. That vacation sounds awesome. And I'm downloading that Picticular app. That sounds fun. I'm a sucker for movie apps.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My buddy Todd created it. He's a producer, and so I'm sure people ask you, "Hey, Josh, where can I watch your movie?" And it's like, well, I acted in it. I don't know where. It's on Netflix one day, it's on Amazon the next day, and so this is a great way to be able to find any movie that you want to watch.
The best answer is when you do something and they're like, "Where can I watch it?" You're like, it's not streaming anywhere. You got to buy it on the old iTunes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
And again, I
appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're welcome. So you've escaped from your kitties and your wife for a few hours, right?
I've got some scratches and claw marks from a wrestling match this morning.
Awesome.
That as the champion. Don't get it twisted. I'm the reigning champ. They gang up on me. I've got a 6-year-old. I've got a 3-year-old, and that 3-year-old knows his strength now. So they know that they're the tag team champs. They're waiting on Baby Bo to get big enough to join them.
All right.
And off we go.
Are they all boys?
All boys. All boys. Wow.
God bless your wife.
Yeah, God bless, praise, man. A lot of chaos in our house. A lot of food being eaten. A lot of chaos.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we always talk about how one day we're gonna have to order, I think, like each of them their own pizza. You know, we're waiting on when that milestone gets here. When any of the kids get big enough, they each want their own pie. So off we go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'd love to just dive into the projects that you're working on. Super exciting stuff. And, I studied acting in New York City, just at a few different private acting classes, but you went to Tisch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like serious. That's like the real deal.
Man, I feel like my education was definitely, I'm thankful to that faculty and that staff. I was at the Stella Adler Conservatory. I've got great memories there, but part of that education is, as you can attest to as well, as just studying in New York. I came up here at 18.
From where?
And I was a kid. My parents have had my back from the very beginning. Never made me scared of anything.
Where
Told me whatever you want to be, Papa, you can be that. And
where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I grew up in Central Florida. I grew up in Orlando.
Okay.
I'm Puerto Rican. My parents graduated from the University of Puerto Rico with pharmacy degrees. They were paying pharmacists, if you were bilingual, a couple extra bucks to come to the States. They moved to Palm Beach, Florida, had me a couple years later in Eustis, and was raised in Central Florida. I was raised on Puerto Rican food and water. I was eating rice and beans every day, and came up here at 18. And so I was raised in both Central Florida. I was also raised in New York. I've been up here close to 20 years now. It's where I've got my boys. It's where I'm here with my wife. And yeah.
So growing up next to Disney World,
absolutely.
Did that have an influence or impact on you with regard?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was Disney and Universal, because Universal. I was born in '86, so they had Nickelodeon Studios. So I am definitely a product of Kenan and Kel and all of that. I was watching all that every Saturday night on Snick, and Kenan Thompson to this day is still one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And I'm very influenced by that. And I always felt like, they're down the street and they're doing this thing that I didn't even know was a real career path, but it was just something where I started doing community theater in middle school, thanks to my buddy Brad, who was doing The Wizard of Oz. And he said, "Hey, you should audition." I said, "Great." I was the lion, the cowardly lion. To this day, I'm still singing, if I were the king of the forest, in the shower. I'm still doing that. And I remember auditioning in 8th grade, the summer after my 8th grade year, going to audition for like the new Mickey Mouse Club. I feel like it was like the new, because I feel like there was already a revamped one, and then there was this one.
Was that with first... Ryan Gosling?
Well, that was the thing. I feel like they were the original, and my memory is foggy. I don't know if it ever got made. I don't think it ever actually happened, but it was my first memory of an audition where I was standing in a parking lot with a cattle call. Just every kid in Orlando just standing in this parking lot, and for my audition there, and I got pretty down close to the bottom of the final, I remember getting called back enough times where it was just a bunch of us in a room. It was the first time I heard a kid on the phone, talking to his agent, and discussing the options, and I did a monologue from Tommy Boy where he's sitting at the desk, you're driving along, kids are in the back seat. "I got to go to the bathroom, Daddy." "Not now, damn it." Did that monologue, and I sang a song called Sun by Four, a group called Sun by Four. The song was called Purest of Pain, this group that I used to love listening to. Yeah, man, so that was that. And of course, my parents drove me on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever it was, and stayed with me all day. And that's the beginning of this little dream, man.
Awesome. And what would you say was something that was really impactful about what your parents implemented or supported you with, or would say to you about pursuing your dream and just going for it?
My parents were always the type, they were my parents were never like advice givers. They were just, though, they led by example. And like, I can honestly say that my parents never once in their life made me ever question my abilities or what I'm able to do or become. And I think that safety net of having a mom and a dad that believed in me, that thought that, sure, man, sometimes it's nice to have parents that think you're the best thing that's ever happened on this planet, you know? Like, according to my mom, you know, there's nothing I can't do. According to my dad, there's nothing I can't do. So I'm very appreciative to have them in my corner. And, you know, when you go to your mom and your pop and you say, I think I want to move to New York because that's where actors live, they say, okay, what do we got to do? You know, when you move there at 18 and you want to stay there the summer and get a job bussing tables, they say, okay, that's cool. Where do we need to put you? You know, how do you get an apartment? Yeah. And they just have always had my back. And that goes even further, you know, after I remember, you know, I had shot, I had finished a job called The Electric Company. That was my first, you know, big boy job outside of college. And I had an amazing experience on that. And after it, you know, I was going on auditions and you know, I was getting close to stuff and things weren't going my way and I was feeling discouraged. And, you know, the voices start getting really loud in your brain and you go, you start questioning yourself. And I'll forever remember being in Times Square and calling my mom, my dad, and my dad just talking to me on the phone and me in tears, just telling him, like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. Like, I don't know if it's all going to be okay. And my dad just telling me, like, Papito, like, we know it's going to be okay. Like, you're young. At the time I was 23. And he's like, the doctors take years to figure out how to become doctors, and lawyers take years to figure out how to become lawyers. He's like, did you think we sent you to New York to figure out how to be an actor by 23, Papa? And I'm like, I know, Dad. He's like, so just keep doing it, you know, just get back on that horse, you know, keep working hard, Papito. And we got your back. And yeah, man, that's I owe him everything.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. On the column on the right, I'm not sure if you can see some of the comments here.
No, I can't. What do they say?
So Andrade, my Spanish is not great, says, Buenas tardes, desde Argentina. Soy Andrea, I love you. My Justin of Chicago PD. Que lindo verte por acá.
Ajá.
What does that mean?
Good work. Your Spanish is great, Colin. He said, I'm Andre. I'm from Argentina. Justin on Chicago PD. It's good to see you over here.
Okay, awesome. How about cómo haces para relajarte en las audiciones?
What do I do to joke around in my auditions? Like, what do I do to have fun in auditions? That one took a long time. I'll tell you that, if I'll be honest with you. I think when you first start auditioning, when I first started auditioning, I remember always trying, and I'm talking after school, you know, when I started kind of making the rounds, I was always trying to be whatever the casting director wanted me to be.
Yeah.
Or whatever I thought was required of me from the breakdown.
Yep.
And, you know, there's an element of that, but honestly, it's more so I just learned along the way, like, oh, I can't be anything that I'm not.
Right.
I need to be what I am and try to put myself in these shoes. I heard Chadwick Boseman once say in an interview, which I love, and he said he thinks of all of his characters as Chadwick being raised in those circumstances. And that I think is the best way to put it, because you put yourself in these situations And you go, okay, what would I feel if I was in this situation? How would I express this? So when you're in these auditions, I learned along the way, like, all right, let's just try to show them whatever colors I can show them in these 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Hopefully you get 20, 25 or 30, where you're sitting in there and you're getting notes and there's a banter back and forth.
Yep.
Hopefully you have the writer in the room or the director in the room that's telling you exactly what they're looking for, and you can try to massage that into what you're doing. But really, I'm just reading my pages, which is your Bible. You're taking everything, all the information is from there. And for the audition, not the job, for the audition, you're going, okay, for these 6 pages, I'm going to show them different colors, an opportunity to meet as much of Josh as they can meet in these 6 pages. Mm-hmm. So that way there might be one moment where they go, that's it. We can work with. Remember when he did that funny, quirky thing that we didn't think of when we wrote it? Yeah. That's what we're looking for. So I'm always just trying to have fun with it like that, just trying to experiment as much as I can. It's less about getting it right. It's just more so saying, hey, this is what I am, and hopefully you like this. Yeah. And hopefully you can use this. And honestly, my guy outside might be a lot better for this job than me, he's a lot better at this thing that you're looking for. Hire him. Just get me on the next one, okay? On the next one, I'm your guy, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And like going to Tisch is a conservatory.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
Yeah. The way they structure it, where you're in your core studio for 2.5 years, if I remember correctly. Then you're allowed to transfer to another studio within those 3 years. But you have to do 3 years of acting training to get your degree, and then you can do whatever you want your 4th year. You can do an academic year, which is what I ended up doing. I did 3 years of training in my senior year. I just took stat and I took music theory. I took some sort of like accounting class. I was like, I gotta know numbers.
For all the money you're gonna be making.
Yeah.
And through all of that training, one of the things that I felt I missed out on when I was first starting to act, like we learned the craft of acting, but in terms of like, okay, now it's time to go out into the world and be an entrepreneur and essentially get the agent, get the manager. And I think what I wish I would have had was more of someone to say, okay, now you are essentially the CEO of your own business, and it's about you advocating for yourself and you looking at it as not trying to get an agent and a manager to like, please represent me. It's more like, I am the CEO of my company and I'm going to interview agent, manager to work for my company in a sense. Did Tisch prepare you for that type of like the business side of acting and the entrepreneurial mindset, or was it something that you just, because I've had so many talented friends, they were incredible on the stage, but when it came to like the entrepreneurial business side of the acting industry, they just couldn't navigate, having an idea of where their career was going to go. And did you have that kind of did you have that kind of like an idea of where you wanted to go, or did they teach that at the school?
So it's 2 parts, right? I never knew to dream even this big. I'll be honest with you. Like show business is not in my family, as I've talked about. Yeah. To me, like I could maybe see the tunnel of like 100 feet away, and this tunnel is thousands of yards, right? So like as a kid, I told you, to me it was as far as Nickelodeon. I was like, man, maybe one day I'll get to be on Nickelodeon and I'll get to be on all that. And I remember in high school, I was in Thespians, and I had a really influential teacher in my life. Her name was Mrs. Jane Mueller. Shout out to Mrs. Mueller. I love you. She used to always say, we're not doing high school theater. We're doing theater in a high school. So she would have us do publicity. She would have us shoot our own commercials for the show. We would be painting sets with Mr. Lowe, Mr. Stephen Lowe. Shout out to him. And we would be there till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And that was a huge influence on me. So we were in Florida. There's Thespians, okay? Troop 2888, shout out. And that was the first time that I learned about conservatories, colleges. We went to these thespian competitions. So she instilled in us a work ethic. Like, if you're doing this thing, you better do it to the best of your abilities. You better read that play. Do not show up and do a monologue of a play you haven't read. Do not show up and talk to me about Othello if you don't have choices, okay? Like, if you want to be Iago, you better be Iago, okay? And this was instilled in us at 15, 16 years old. And she was hard on us in the best way possible. And I could tell she was preparing us for what was to come, even though I didn't even know about that yet. So towards the end of high school, I ended up coming to NYU because, if you remember, that's when the Olsen twins were applying to NYU. So that was the first time I ever heard about, like, dream schools. And I was like, okay, the Olsen twins are on Full House, and the Olsen twins are going to NYU. And my dad is from the Bronx. I was like, so I want to go to New York. I came up here in 8th grade for a field trip, and I saw the Phantom of the Opera on that trip. My dad brought me up junior year, and I saw Take Me Out. And I remember seeing baseball players on stage and being like, whoa, okay, this is like worlds that I love all happening here. You know, and Richard O'Hare I did those monologues to audition for college, the accountant monologues. And I get into NYU, and NYU, at the time that I was there, I'm pretty sure that was the time that they started, like, Stone Street, which is their TV film studio, had just only started a couple years earlier. And they had some incredible instructors there, people that had worked in the business many years, you know. So that was the first time I ever learned about multicam acting, you know, and, like, you're trying to hit your marks, hit your tape, you know. That was the first time I ever did a scene study on camera. So they were giving us these tools, and at Stone Street, they would bring in agents and managers for a weekly showcase. Every Monday night, they brought in a manager or an agent. My story outside of that comes a little bit, once again, never knowing too far ahead, but if you give me the ball, I'm going to run as hard and as fast as I can. Okay, that's my MO. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get to the end zone somehow. I'll figure it out. So my friend Dara Rosenberg said to me the summer after my sophomore year, she said, yo, I had shot. All right, we're all over the place, but it all makes sense soon, I promise. I had gone home the summer after my freshman year, and I had an agent in Orlando named the Diamond Agency. Her name was Helen Giddens. And I auditioned for a TV movie called Vampire Bats that I shot for CBS with Lucy Lawless. Okay. That was my first, like, movie. I go back to school, so now I have this movie under my belt, okay? It's sophomore year. It came out on Halloween. My friend Dara Rosenberg says to me, hey, this summer, we're going to do a children's rendition of Midsummer Night's Dream. I go do this, and a manager comes. Her name is Susu Stanton. She comes and sees this show, and, you know, goes back to telling my parents, like, I'm going to stay in New York City. I'm going to do this show, a 50-seat house in Soho. But I was like, okay, I got to work. Like, this is what actors do. So I go do this show, and a manager comes, and she says she's going to rep me. So now I've got my first New York manager in Susu. And Susu started sending me on a couple movie auditions with an awesome casting house here. Stephen Vincent, Sig De Miguel. Shout out to them. I still love them to this day. I booked a couple movies. I shot a movie called The Ministers with John Leguizamo and Harvey Keitel. Shot a movie called Tiny Dancer with Melissa Fumero. It was a Sundance piece, and shot a movie called The Narrows with Sophia Bush and Kevin Zegers. Shot these all on winter break or summer break. And so now I'm at Stone Street. So now it's my junior year. And I met another manager named Erica Tuckman. And she really taught me a lot about what it was. She's like, have you met certain offices? Have you met NBC? Have you met ABC? Have you gone in for CBS? And I was like, no, I haven't done that, So ended up working with Erica. Susu and I gave each other a big hug. Off we went. Started working with Erica. That was my first like real foray into like, what this world really was. Met all the big casting directors in New York. This is coming out of college now. So once again, it's kind of just these things were placed in front of me, and I knew that this was an opportunity that it sounded like this is how it's supposed to go, so I'm going to do it. And worked with Erica for a few years. We gave each other a big hug. And I'm now with my manager, Andrew Tettenbaum, who I've been with for over 10 years. And Andrew truly has changed my life. I've been with him. He's my brother. And he's instilled in me a lot of great things. And he's really taught me a lot about this business. Most importantly, early on, when I was scared, after I did my first little guest spot on Homeland, and I had my Broadway debut, those voices never go away.
Yeah.
I heard a Morgan Freeman quote one time where after every job, he fears he's never going to work again.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. There's a part of you that's always going to wonder if somebody's going to call you again. But I like that voice. It keeps me in check. It makes me stay working hard. And that's that, so I guess that's my long-winded way of saying, like, I'm really lucky that I've had the journey that I've had. And I've had a lot of influential people that have really left a mark on this journey for me. And I'm really thankful to them that they took chances on me. I'm thankful to Susu for taking a chance on me. I'm thankful to Helen back in Orlando, to Erica. And now I've got Andrew. And that's how this thing goes.
Yeah. So I meet quite a few people, and growing up, I was more of an introvert. Just even getting up in front of people to talk would just naturally make me feel nervous. As a performer, I mean, you've been on Broadway, going into all these auditions, and obviously, walking into these auditions, when you get down to the 5th or 6th audition, it's the studio test and the network test, and you've got the Warner Brothers executives all just kind of sitting there, like this, and knowing that literally if in this next 10 minutes, this could change my life. Do you ever get nervous about like obviously you mentioned like, get the voice in your head, but do you ever get nervous to the point where you're like, okay, I need to put this in check, or are you just like excited about just going for it? Do you ever have like nerves to the point where you're like, okay, I gotta like do something here? Because in some of my auditions, like people would be doing push-ups in the hallway and like cartwheels and like, how do you deal with that kind of like the anxiety that is around this freaking crazy business?
I absolutely still get nervous.
Yeah.
I absolutely still, sometimes my fingers will get cold. But I heard somewhere along the way, if you don't get nervous, that means you don't care. Those butterflies means that you care, and I care very, very deeply.
Yeah. Would you have any advice for people who are afraid of getting up in front of people? Like, what would you tell people who are like, I want to do it, but I just get, I don't know, I'm worried about what people like think of me, or the judgment, or what if I fail?
Yeah. Well, I'll say that it's okay to fail. It's okay to mess up. Everybody messes up. I have failed many times. And all the cliches are true. Like it just makes you stronger. And I've got little things that I'll do. I'll sit backstage before that curtain opens, and I heard one exercise that I do, I don't know where I learned it along the way, is basically I take a big old deep breath and I hold my finger in front of my mouth and I try to blow that entire breath out without feeling it on my finger. So it's just like, and just try to center yourself.
Yeah.
I'll do push-ups. I'll get that anxiety out physically. To me, I think what settles me though, if I'm on stage or if I'm doing something, honestly, anywhere, I love connecting with my partners.
Mm-hmm.
I am like before shows, man, you're catching me dapping everybody up. Sorry, man, I know you're warming up, but you're coming in, give me a kiss on the cheek. We're gonna hug. We're gonna woo. Let's go. We're getting hyped back here, you know, because we're living the dream, dude. You know, like I love this shit. You know, like I love that we get to go out here and we get to act. You're telling me that this is my job? I get to act. Let's go. You know, that's inside of me. So I think that's my way of letting it out. Is sometimes just, what's up? Let's go. You ready? And I love, you know, I love watching sports, and I feel like before plays, before my shows that I've done, before we're about to do a take, you'll catch me in the corner looking like I'm about to go fight somebody, you know, like that's just how I am. Yeah. And I think now you're making me realize that's my way of getting those nerves out. Yeah. So that way, let the body settle and you're in it, you know. And also another piece of advice that I'll share with my homies out there is, it's okay to be nervous, but it's better to be nervous while you're well prepared. So like, before I go to work and before I go to work, I know what scenes we're shooting that day. My homework at home is to know my lines. And my homework at home is to try my best to think about as many options as I can give myself on the day. So that way, when I'm shooting, I'm reacting to my partner, but I'm also giving them stuff back. Stuff that I want to try, stuff that I want to play with. I want to keep that ball in the air with each other. And, you know, you don't want to put it all into a forced position where you're doing all these things that you prepared beforehand and you're just like, you're not listening to me, man. You got to do it like this. No, it's more so just give yourself every opportunity you can, so that way when you're doing it, the most accomplished I ever feel after work is when I go home and I say to myself, like, man, I did everything I wanted to do. Yeah. I tried everything I wanted to try. Yeah. And there's always going to be a couple things left in the can where I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll do that ADR. I'm like,
oh, now okay, I get an idea. I'm like, fuck, can I go back and can we just? Now I get it. Now, fuck. Oh, like
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah. You know, that I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that I have not texted some of my showrunners after I've gone home and been like, yo, in ADR, can you just let me do scene 5 again? Because I just want to try a different cadence for this thing that I did. And then make sure, Josh, we'll pay money for you to redo that scene. You know, you're like, all right, thanks.
Yeah. So, and so with regards to your 2 new projects, so you've got the Big Door Prize and Scream 6, which is, I mean, dude,
it's wild.
Amazing. What were the audition processes like for those? How did those come about?
In consecutive order, it was Big Door Prize was first. I had just worked with an awesome director named Anu Valia on She-Hulk. Anu directed a bunch of those episodes. And she called me and said, hey, there's this show that I'm working on called the Big Door Prize. And the creator, his name is David West Reed, who was writer and executive producer of Schitt's Creek. And the other head writer over there, her name is Sarah Walker, and I worked with Sarah on a show called Sirens back in the day on USA.
Okay.
And Anu said, will you meet with them? Casting is going to call you. Just know that they know your work. So just have fun, and you're going to read these scenes with them. And I appreciate Anu saying to me that, because once again, you get nervous, you know? Yeah. So it's always nice when you know, like, okay, they kind of know what I do.
Right.
I'm just going to go do it. And they sent over these sides, and the character is Giorgio. He's a former New York Ranger, former goalie for the New York Rangers, the youngest Italian-American goalie in New York Rangers history. And we move, and it's about a town, and we get this machine in our town where when you sit in it, it tells you your life potential. So it starts just messing with the town, because either you've achieved your life potential or you haven't, or you feel like you need to quit whatever job you're doing and pursue this other dream because this little card told you that you should. And I met with Dave, and we laughed our behinds off for half an hour. And that was that. You know, I know that they read other actors for it. But as Dave tells me, you know, these things sometimes are meant to be.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, I'll tell this little story about that. Dave had not watched the other two yet. I'm on this show on HBO called The Other Two. And Sarah emails him, I think, a year or so earlier than this casting process, and says, just so you know, I have our Giorgio. It's this kid, Josh, I worked with on Sirens. And this is them telling the story. I'm telling the story for them. And he's like, yeah, whatever. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
He watches The Other Two during the pandemic, writes to Sarah and says, I have our Giorgio.
Yeah, he's like, that's the guy who was
that's who I told you. They tell Anu, and she goes, that's funny. I'm working with Josh right now on She-Hulk. So sorry to the other guys auditioning. I think I had a leg up. You know what I'm saying? So that I'm having a ball on that. I love my cast on that. I can't wait for people to see it.
Chris O'Dowd.
Chris is the man. That's my guy.
Can you tell us what the Big Door Prize? You said it's about a machine where you can see
small town gets this machine. You sit in it, and it tells you your life potential. That's that. And it starts. What would happen if one day you've lived 40 years on this planet, and then a little card tells you, hey, everything you thought you were doing is incorrect. You need to now go pursue this other dream. And you go, wait, but what? That's what the show's about.
And who does Chris play?
Chris plays a character named Dusty. And Dusty is exactly that. He's really happy, really comfortable in his life. He's a great father, great husband. He plays opposite Gabrielle Dennis, who's an incredible actor. And all of a sudden, one day they get these cards that tell them that everything they've built up until this point is maybe wrong. So what do you do? You know?
Oh, shit.
What do you do? It's a really, really, really smart, really quirky, funny show with a lot of heart. And I can't wait for people to meet these characters in the town. There's an incredible cast. I can't wait for people to see it. I really can't.
Awesome. And it's on Apple TV.
Apple TV comes out March 29th.
Okay. March. And this is the first season?
First season. Yep. First season.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. How many episodes? 10
episodes, half-hour episodes.
Okay. So and your character is what?
Giorgio, the hockey player.
So
and I open an Italian restaurant / sports center. So inside my Italian restaurant, there's a Papa Shot, there's an air hockey table, and some other surprises. So while you're eating your chicken parm, you can also go win some prizes.
Okay. All right. Definitely gonna check out that. And then obviously Scream 6.
So Scream happened. I was in Atlanta. You asked me how that happened. I was in Atlanta. Agents called. They said, hey, there's this audition coming through the pipeline. I said, cool, read it. First audition was pretty mysterious, as I'm sure people know. They don't really give out a lot of the information when you're auditioning. You kind of just send in, you know, and so it goes back to the audition question at the very beginning. What do you do with these 3 pages? I think my first audition was me meeting a female character in the movie, and they gave a fake name. Thanks, Ginny. Can't wait for you to see it. meeting another character in the movie. So you go, all right, well, I don't know anything about this character. I don't know what he does. I don't know who he is, but let me just introduce them to what I think I could do with these 3 pages. And then so I'll tell you the funny part. So they call me back and they send me a new scene, which was a full page monologue where I am confessing to be the killer. So I was like, yo, I'm the killer in this movie. Let's go. You know, like I'm telling my wife, I'm telling the whole team, like, guys, I'm the killer in this movie. Okay. I do the callback. I meet with Matt and Tyler, who are awesome. We do this whole thing and they're all smiles. I'm all smiles. I meet Melissa along the way. I meet Jenna along the way. I'm meeting the core cast. I'm like, well, sorry guys, I'm here to be the killer. Let's go. Well, I get to work. And don't worry, because all of us did that killer monologue. That's part of the entire process of doing this. So everyone thinks they're the killer. Everyone is the killer. Yeah, so that's just their way of just auditioning you. You know, just they got to see what you can do. They got to see the whole gamut, you know?
Wow. So when you were shooting it, did you not know who the killer was?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that for a while. I didn't know that for a while. So... you know, I won't say too much, but along the way, when they start to peel back some layers for you before you get into production, I think it's always a big reveal to everyone. So it felt good to have all the info, put it that way.
So when you started shooting, did you know if you did it or not?
Oh, I knew everything when I started shooting. Okay. I knew everything by then. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And who else is Courtney Cox in?
Courtney's there. That was a very cool day. One I'll remember forever, getting to meet Courtney. Yeah. She's a legend. I still watch Friends. You know, that's a late night comfort show right there. Yep. I love a lot of her work. We were big Cougar Town fans in our house, so I love Courtney, and she's a gangster. She was so kind and so cool. I have yet to meet Arquette. I'm dying to meet David Arquette. That's my guy. As fans know, he died in the 5th one. So I'm dying to meet him. I can't wait to shake his hand, give him a big hug. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I just respect him so much, and I'm such a big fan of his. So when I see him, I'm giving him a bear hug for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And beyond Scream and the Big Door Prize, do you have anything in the pipeline?
Yeah, I just finished season 3 of the other 2. That's coming out on HBO. I don't know when that is, but soon, because we wrapped up in January. So I love that show. I'm really excited for it to come out, and I hope fans are excited for season 3.
What's that about?
That is about a pop star named Chase Dreams. He finds a lot of fame for his talents. And the show is about his family, the other 2, about his older brother and his older sister, played by Helena York and by Drew Tarver. Chase is played by Case Walker. Molly Shannon is their mom. Ken Marino is his manager. And I play Lance, who's Brooke's boyfriend on there. And it's written by Sarah Schneider and Chris Kelly. They were the head writers of SNL for a few years, writing on that for many years. And a dream of mine. I grew up a big fan, still am of SNL. Has a big influence on me. So to get to work with them and get to do something that I love and play a character that I've really, really enjoyed playing, I hope we go forever.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely want to check that out. Would you ever audition for Saturday Night Live?
Oh man, if they would even let me go play with them, that would be my dream come true. You know, that would be my dream come true, to go play with them over there. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you say has been your most favorite project you've worked on so far in your career?
I hold a soft spot for this show that I did called Sirens. We got 2 seasons out of it. But I'll tell you why. I was 25, 26 when I did it. We shot it in Chicago. We were all at a similar place in our careers. And and we were all out there for 2-3 months, and that's when I got to meet Bob Fisher and Dennis Leary, who I've now really become close with over all these years. And Bob and I have worked together many times, and Dennis and I have gotten to work together off screen and on. And with that one, it was just different. We were at a time in our lives where I was getting engaged to my now wife. My buddy Kevin Bigley was getting engaged to his now wife, Kate. We were learning a lot from Mike Mosley at the time, who was our vet, but he was still young, but he was our vet. He'd done so much at the time. Yeah. But we would go shoot, be wrapped up by 6 p.m., go our separate ways, whether it be work out, go eat, yada, yada. And then we'd go back to Mosley's apartment at 8:30. He'd have bottles of wine waiting for us. We'd run lines for the next day. We'd talk about the scenes. We'd go to bed and do it again. Like, we couldn't get enough of each other. I'm still really close to all of them. Shout out to my girl, Jess McNamee, who we played partners on there. And we were just, it was that was the first time I ever got a regular on a job. Yeah. I started as a recurring guest star, and they bumped me up to regular for the second season. Just a really cool, special time in my life. So I've been lucky, though, Colin. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I love working on the other two. I love the things I've gotten to do on stage and On Your Feet and Dogfight and Liz Estrada Jones. And I've been really fortunate to be a part of a lot of projects that I have a lot of fun when I'm at work. And I've gotten really lucky with the people I've gotten to work with. I appreciate all of them for giving me chances and taking shots on me, and believing in me and teaching me more about myself and what I can bring to the table. And to a lot of people, I'm forever grateful. And I've had a lot of fun in this little journey. I really have.
That's absolutely the way I look at it. And the more older I get, and the more, like when I first started acting, it was like, jobs were coming. I was like, oh, this, like, I went out to Hollywood. Within 1 month, I booked a pilot for Warner Brothers, shot it in Australia. It was based on the present day Wizard of Oz. It was called Lost in Oz. And, the writer the whole time was like, yeah, this is like, sending the dailies back to LA. And they're like, WB loves this. This is going to be the hit show. This is like, what color Ferrari do you want to get? I'm like, he's like, I'm going to get a red one. You should get a black one. I'm like, okay, I'll get a black Ferrari. I'm like, yeah. And we come back to LA, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and then the upfronts, we shot it in March, and then the upfronts where they announce all the shows for the upcoming season is in May. And I'm sitting waiting, like, waiting for that call. And my manager calls me up and says, hey, they're not going to go with the show. I was like, what? Well, all right, no problem. I'll just book another one. And it was like a year and a half before I booked anything after that. And, it's one of these things where this career it's amazing. And we have an amazing opportunity to, like you said, do what we love to do. I absolutely love it. The most difficult part I find, though, is just staying, well, not motivated, but keeping with it when audition after audition after audition, and there's time when you're not working. And so how do you stay motivated? How do you stay, not that I ever doubt it, because I love it. Like, whether I act in another TV show ever again, like, I know it's going to happen. I don't know what or where or how, but literally just setting up my lights in here in the kitchen and just doing these self tapes. What keeps me going is that I just love doing it. It's not what I do, it's who I am. And that's what I keep telling people. You got to find something that you just are passionate about. And I think that's what has created your success. Is like, it sounds like when you walk into the room, you just like light it up, and you connect, and you focus on connecting. And I think that's so important with anything that we do, because that's how I get over my nerves. And like you were saying, before the curtain opens, you go up to your co-star and you're like, all right, we're doing this, man. Like, this is it. This is it. For maybe advice to someone who's just starting out in the business, because it has changed, with these self tapes and We don't always have the opportunity to go into rooms now to have those human connections. What advice would you give maybe someone who's just coming up through the ranks and is, trying to find an agent, trying to get discovered?
I would say try your best. That first audition that comes along, that one's going to be easy to be inspired by, right? That one's going to be easy to read the script and to know your lines. And then let's say that one doesn't go well. So the second audition comes along, and that one probably still pretty easy to work hard at, and get going and prepare. But man, let's say you do 3, 4 auditions and they didn't go your way, and all of a sudden your heart is heavy and you're in your head and you start questioning things. Do your best to treat that 5th audition the same exact way you treated the first.
Yeah.
Do your best to treat your 75th audition the same way you treated your first. Because I do think that reads. I think that comes through on screen. I think it comes through in our eyes. If they see us heavy, then you feel one way. But if you bring a lightness to it, you bring your passion to it, like you were just saying, I agree with you 100%. Like when you bring that energy to it, nothing can match that. It doesn't matter what choices you make. People, my favorite actors are the ones, when I watch them on screen, I'm watching them enjoy what they're doing. Even if they're supposed to be in pain on screen, I'm watching them enjoy it. Yeah. It's like, man, that right there, they're jumping off that cliff every time. I wanted to treat my 85th performance on stage the same way as opening night. Because I remember when I saw my first Broadway shows, now knowing, oh yeah, they were running for a year at that time. Yeah. I didn't know that as a kid. Yeah. I didn't know that they were on performance whatever. But to me, I was watching my first Broadway show. Yeah. So to me, it matters to go out there and give everybody their Broadway show. For this tape, I'm giving them, how many tapes have they watched? They've probably watched 60 tapes at this point. But I'm hoping that when they turn on my tape that they go, oh, nice. I may not get it, but at least they were like, yo, that kid was not right for this. But yo, call him again and call him again. And it might be the 6th one that I'll get. But I just hope it always starts with the first one. It always starts that first time somebody lays eyes on you. So to everyone that's starting it out right now, remember that. It's not about that first job. It's not about that first tape. It's not about that first audition. It's about the next one. And it's about the next one after that. And you want people to know that when they're with you in the rain and it's cold, they want to work with you again when it's raining and it's cold. And when they see your audition, they want to audition you again. Until the part does come along and they're going to say, yo, man, sorry about making you read 7 different parts, but thanks for reading that 8th time because that's the character we needed. And you go, yeah, for sure. Whatever. Thanks for letting me be here. Yeah. Thanks for letting me be here. Yeah.
Do you have a few more minutes to go over your favorite movies?
Let me check. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, I do. Okay, I'd love to go because I wanted to talk about movies. Let's go. I heard we were going to chat some movies.
Yeah. So this is the particular pick 6, and the first question is, what is your favorite movie of all time? Easy.
Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy.
Let's go, Tommy Boy. Absolutely.
Dude, amazing. Love it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah, there's nothing more to be said about that.
Go away, fat guy in a little
what was your favorite movie? Yeah, fat guy in little.
Come on.
What was your favorite movie growing up as a kid?
I am raised. I can't give you a favorite, but I'll give you the genre. I am very influenced by all of those like sports coming of age movies. So The Sandlot, Mighty Ducks, The Big Green, Little Giants, and Heavyweights. Them going to fat camp. Ben Stiller playing Tony Perkis. All those movies were big in my childhood. Rookie of the Year, Little Big League, but just watched Big Green last night with my boys because my son Gus is playing soccer. Yeah, remember that one? It was about a team in I know this because we just watched it in Elma, Texas, and a teacher comes over and she's trying to figure out how to connect with the class. So she introduces them to soccer, and Steve Guttenberg is in it. He plays Sheriff Tom.
Okay.
And they end up, just like all those, man. They end up winning the championship, beating the Knights.
Awesome.
And their team is called the Big Green, so they have a green goat as their mascot.
Okay.
All those movies, The Icebox and Little Giants. Come on, I wanted to be Benny the Jet Rodriguez to this day. That's still my guy from The Sandlot.
Yeah, dude, you're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls. Come on, Patrick Renna. Funny, Patrick Renna obviously is in all those movies. And yesterday, Gus was asking me. He was like, "Dada, is that Elf?" So he thinks Patrick Renna is Will Ferrell as a kid because we love Elf. So with kids, you don't want to. You can lie to them if it's going to expand their imagination. So like, sure, Papa, that is Kid Will Ferrell in The Big Green.
Okay.
So good job, Patrick Renna.
What is your favorite? I mean, this may be the same answer as your first question, but what is your favorite comedy?
Tommy Boy, of course, but I can put in there too Billy Madison. Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy were on repeat in my house. Those movies are very influential to me. Adam Sandler and Chris Farley are my two favorite actors. They a lot of quotes from all those movies growing up, and I still quote them to this day. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Doesn't Ben Stiller play the
the nurse Happy Gilmore? Oh yeah, your back. Oh yeah, your fingers hurt?
Of hot milk? I'll give you a cup of shut the hell up.
Exactly. Now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping, dude.
Amazing. And of course, Zoolander. Like you gotta just
absolutely.
Yeah.
What is that? A center for ants? Yeah.
No, Derek. Yeah.
Yes.
What is your favorite romantic comedy?
Oh.
Or
let's go with Serendipity.
Oh,
okay. Or let's go with Love Actually. Yes, Serendipity and Love Actually. They're right up there for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Very fulfilling endings too. You know what I'm saying? Like I love You've Got Mail, but it stresses me out too much because they just keep missing each other the whole movie. So that one gives me too much anxiety. Whereas Serendipity is like giving me fulfillment every 15 minutes. I'm feeling closer to it.
I got it. Who is your favorite actor or male character in a movie?
Well, I won't answer the same because obviously Chris Farley, Adam Sandler. I'll go a little older, because my filmography I think grew when I got to college and I started watching other movies than these 7 that I've named for you. I love Vince Vaughn. Swingers was really big for me in college. Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. I love Jon Favreau and The Replacements. But Mike and Trent in Swingers was big for me. Yeah. And then I'll go like Ray Liotta, Henry Hill, and Goodfellas.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me. I still watch it all the time. But man, I love Christian Bale. His just range of everything. I study him a lot. I love just, by study, I say I just watch his movies over and over again, just saying like, what did he do for this, man? Those guys.
Yeah. I watched a little interview with Christian Bale, and he was talking about how when he was doing Batman with Heath Ledger, he was talking to was it Christopher Nolan that directed?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He was saying, he was like, okay, we just got to make sure that that Joker is not more interesting than Batman, and we just got to make sure that we're kind of balancing this out. And he was like, and as soon as I saw Heath Ledger's first scene, I was like, fuck it. There's no way I'm able to top that. Like, it was like,
absolutely.
Wow, like that's just
absolutely
holy shit. He was like, all right, fine. Let it be what it like.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite actress or female character?
Female character is easy. We're gonna go to The Sandlot. That's Wendy Peppercorn. That was a very influential moment. Talk about risking it all in my life, as a kid growing up. But I just watched actually True Romance.
Oh,
and I love Patricia Arquette.
Dude, amazing.
And I had never seen her in that. So I know her work recently, and I just love her work.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I see her young, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed this. That scene with Chris Walken and just that whole movie. I mean, even young James Gandolfini.
Oh, dude.
Just all these.
Brad Pitt is in
come
there.
on, all of them, it's just crazy just seeing how many actors were in that movie. And just how many careers have gone on and done all these different things. But that was such a cool watch. Absolutely. Rappaport. That was you saw me trying to figure out. I was like, who was I thinking about? It was Rappaport. Just young Rappaport, just talking shit.
I ain't got a pot to piss in. All I got is food.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Clarence, I don't know those kind of people. I don't like.
That's it. That's a good rap right there. That's a really good rap you got. That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, Josh, you're awesome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. This was really fun chat. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone out there, be sure to be sure to check out Josh's projects, the Big Door Prize, Scream, and the two. Is it the two of us?
The other two.
The other two.
Yeah, there's 2 seasons of that out, so that's an easy binge. You can go catch that one.
Awesome. Dude, thank you so much again. And just last question before you take off. I always love to ask my guests, what is the thing that inspires you most?
My family. It inspires me like crazy. They inspire me. They keep me having fun. They are everything that I work for. I love watching my boys grow up. I love that me and my wife Brace get to share it. I love the mom that she's become. We're growing together. And watching these little dudes, the way they make me laugh is something that I cherish very deeply. I think they're so funny. They've got such good timing. And honestly, this is all at this point. I never knew to dream this big, like I told you. And they're part of this dream now. So they inspire me the most, Colin. Thanks for asking me that.
Awesome. Well, you inspire me, and you keep inspiring the world, my man. And great to meet you.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Good to meet you too.
All right. Take care.
Take it easy. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Again, amazing conversation. Thank you to Josh, and absolutely, guys, have to check out his stuff. And you can tell, man, just his energy is just so infectious. And like I've mentioned this before, like when I first went out to Hollywood, I'd only been studying acting for like 2.5 years. And, I wasn't the most experienced actor. I wasn't the best. I wasn't the most knowledgeable about it. But what I had was exactly what you can tell Josh has, is just that infectious energy about loving what you do. And I think a lot of times we can take for granted just even having the opportunity to do what we love to do. And it's so important because tomorrow is not guaranteed. And it's so important that you just know that, like, whatever it is that you do, as long as you just show up with that energy of gratitude and appreciating what you do, that's what resonates. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be like wear the best clothes or live in, whatever. It truly is about how you show up in life. And when we show up with this feeling of not being good enough, or the imposter syndrome, and feeling like, we're worried about what people think of us, of course it's going to make you feel small and make you feel like you can't accomplish what you want to. But it's all about just finding what it is that you love and just spreading that joy and that love to wherever you go and wherever you end up. And it truly, people fall in love with that energy. That's when they fall in love with you. They don't care what and the facts, or when you went to school and whatever. Like, truly, it all comes down to just how you show up and loving what you do and being of service and just showing up and trying to make a difference in other people's lives. It comes back around tenfold. And I'm just so grateful to have to be able to like interview people like Josh to just keep reminding us of that. And if you want to, be supported in this process, I'm doing a ton of stuff to just keep growing this community that I love being a part of. And we just had an Inspire call before this, and this is part of my 6-week Inspire course where every Sunday from 12 to 2 Central Standard Time, we jump on Zoom and I share some writing exercises and I assign some movies to watch that correspond to the theme of the week. This week it was Field of Dreams, which is all about pursuing your dreams and listening to that inner voice that deep down is connected to who you truly are and what you want to make happen in life, even if people think you're crazy, because people thought Kevin Costner was crazy for building a baseball field in the middle of his cornfield at the detriment of possibly losing his house. But it truly matters when you really listen to that. And it's important for us to just slow down and really truly connect with who we really are deep, deep, deep down. And that's why I'm doing this Inspire retreat in April. So if you are interested in joining us for this amazing week of vacation, relaxation, but also like a mindfulness vacation where not only are you going to be able to rest physically, you're going to connect empoweredly, is that a word? In an empowered way to who you truly are. And I'm going to be putting my 6-week Inspire course condensed into this 5 days. And there's going to be a bunch of other incredible people there teaching breath work and Reiki. And yeah, it's just going to be an amazing, incredible week of us connecting and just, really tapping into what we know is our true potential and creating abundance around all of it. So thanks again for being here on this special episode of Coffee with Colin. And we've got another one tomorrow, so stay tuned for that and have a great rest of your Sunday. Take care.